say, I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time. Good afternoon, everyone. Another episode of Equal Start. Today I've got another esteemed guest, Mr. Asari Hill. The founder of the Black Business. St Hill. The founder of the Black Business Club. And today this is an episode on Unheralded Heroes, with people that help the community, help us to build our economic footprint, rise us up so we have more of a say in terms of socioeconomics, especially politically. Because, you know, without the economics behind us, we don't have much of a voice in the UK. And today we're going to talk to an expert of how we do that and how we progress the community for the future. So, Mr. Hill, can you introduce what you've done and what inspired you to start your Action Coach business and the Black Business Club?
Yeah, two levels really. I mean, the coaching initially was something I never heard of, business coaching, until about 20 years ago. I was working in the public sector. I had a really good job. I was inspecting councils. I had lots of good experiences managing staff, all sorts of things. And Action Coach contacted me after I did my MBA. I did a master's in business administration at Aston University. I graduated in 2008. So soon after that, Action Coach contacted me. They said, it's not a job offer. It's an opportunity to start a business. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to listen to what they got to say. Let's see what they got to say. And they opened up my whole world to this business coaching and this structure that Action Coach has had for 31 years. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. But I had such a great job at the time and everything. I thought it was a bit risky to stop doing it. But then in 2008, 2011 got made redundant from public sector when that new government came in. So everything changed. So I looked at the opportunity, managed to put some finances together, and joined Action Coach in training in Vegas in 2011 in November. And then after coaching for all those years, I had a lot of different clients from all different ethnic backgrounds, men, women, etc., different age groups. But I always wanted to do more for the Black community and Black businesses. I ran different programs and that, but not everybody can afford the slightly more dearer programs. People will drop out and stuff like that. So I thought, you know what? What if I could do something that was much more affordable, that could just bring people together? And then I read a fantastic book called The Membership Economy. That is a brilliant book if you want to build membership. And after I read that book, I said,
chat for me then. Yeah.
I put it in the chat. Yeah. The Membership Economy. And then once I read that, I said, I knew what I needed to do. I'm going to set up a membership group. Got the website, got the domain name, got the company's house registration, and launched it within a few days. And that was December 22, I think. 22, yeah. So just over two years ago or so. And now we're flourishing. We got nearly 70 members. And yeah, that inspired me because I wanted to create an opportunity for us to be able to do more networking, more collaboration, and give business education to the Black businesses. So that's what we do, and we meet twice a month now.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm a member now, aren't I? I'm a member now. So, in terms of the community, over the years, even from my grandparents' era, I've noticed, you know, when we used to have the partner system, where they got their houses through that way, because they couldn't go to the banks, we had to throw the partner to get their hands each week.
Absolutely.
So we could put down deposits. I noticed over the 50, 60 years since then, with the Black community, that has seemed to regressed, even though we're in an era of more opportunity, technological advancement, more education, and yet socially, economically, I would say we're worse off than ever, despite how many generations we've been here. So I want to get your idea of how you think we can rectify that, because this is a big thing that always comes up. People have these ideas, but it's never how, it's never why. It's all about, you know, there's a kind of mentality that said that is not suited to for business and entrepreneurship, and that we're caught in the employment trap, and then we work operating silos, so it's only certain people that want to, help each other. There's gatekeepers that prevent others that are keen to progress, and then obviously lack of trust because it said some of them are not genuine. So people get discouraged and think, why should I bother? I should just go back into the world of employment. Why didn't you
Mm.
do any of them things? And how do you think we can overcome these issues?
Well, there's a number of things I think it's important to put context. I think we need to look at the context of where we were and where we are now,
Mm,
and also compare ourselves to others. The
mm,
danger with comparing ourselves to others, it's very anecdotal. And there
mm,
is evidence to show that even with some evidence that we are not economically performing as well as some communities,
mm.
but we are outperforming some too.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we have to be, so we should look at that as well, like the Bangladeshi community. There's certain communities not doing
Mm,
as well in this country as we are. But if we look at ourselves, let's keep it to the African Caribbean community in this country, who has only been here in large numbers since the 1950s.
mm,
So if you think of over a 75-year period, roughly, we have remarkably improved our situation. Yes, our parents' generation put partner together and bought properties and so on and so on, but not all of them. It was a very good percentage. There's evidence to show there was a higher percentage of home ownership amongst African Caribbean people than there were in the white community. But obviously, things have
mm,
changed. The attitude towards home ownership has changed, so therefore, there's been that massive boom in people buying their own properties and all that. But a lot of our people have. And I think we need to put it in perspective. I did a speech for my parent. My mum's passed away, but when I did a speech for my mum, or it was dedicated to my parents at an event that they were hosting for, these lodges and stuff like that. You have these lodges and stuff like that. They had like a black version of it, kind of
mm,
thing.
mm.
So they got me as a guest speaker to one of the Women's Day events, right?
Okay.
Even though it was Women's Day, but they still got me to speak because it was my mum asked me to do a little talk, and I said to them, if you had to take back to the Caribbean what you now own, you couldn't fit in a suitcase. Remember, you came to
Mm,
England with suitcase and hope. That was it. Just a suitcase and hope. Or a grip. They used to call it a grip, innit? A little
mm.
grip, right? Those
Yeah.
old time suitcases, right? They came with that, and that was it. And a lot of hope. That's it. Now, a lot of our parents, if they had to go back to the Caribbean, they've bought houses in the Caribbean, they've retired in the
Mm,
Caribbean,
mm,
they've
mm.
given money to our generation. My parents, just an example, my mother left money when she passed away. She left money to me, my sister, and my two sisters, and she left money for the grandchildren.
That's it.
My sons have also inherited money from their grandfather and their grandmother,
Mhm.
on the maternal side.
Okay.
So that's generation wealth already.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
My
Mm,
and my on their maternal side, my sons eventually will also have the opportunity to inherit because their mother owns a home,
mhm,
their grandmother and grandfather owns a home. That will
mm.
eventually be passed down as well. So there's lots of generational wealth that's already happening in our community that we tend to forget about. Every time somebody says they're retiring in the Caribbean or retiring in Africa, they're usually retiring in their own home. They've used
Mm,
the money they got here to invest
mhm.
in the home over there. Some of them have kept their home here and bought a home there, so they're even better off. Some got multiple homes.
Yeah, of
So
course.
there's
No,
lots of
definitely, definitely.
those examples. There's lots of people who own
Mm.
businesses, and one of the fastest growing groups of starting business in this country are black women.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Um,
that's a fact.
and there's lots of people in business and lots of businesses that are hidden. Because one of the things with Turkish businesses, some of the so-called Jewish businesses, some of the Asian businesses, is they're very visible. They tend
Mm.
to own shops,
Jobs. Yeah.
bar, a lot of the food shops and the restaurants. So they're very visible. So everybody can see, oh, there's another Turkish shop. Oh, there's another Asian man in a shop. They're very visible. We traditionally were not really high street.
Yeah, we're
Apart
not
from
shopkeepers.
takeaways,
Yeah, we're not
take
shopkeepers.
away barber hairdresser, yeah. But we always have that barbers, hairdresser, takeaways. But apart from that, we don't traditionally have high street type shops. That's not really our thing. We tend to go into the public sector,
Mhm.
or we become plumbers and self-employed
Construction.
people. And
Construction.
therefore, unless somebody's working in your house, you wouldn't even know that that guy driving that van has got his own business.
It
You
is.
just
Yeah.
think maybe he's just employed. So
Mm.
lots of us are in trades. lots of us are self-employed in the services. So we, like people like me who have my business working from home, it's invisible. Nobody
Mm.
knows if I'm a business owner or not. If they see me walking down the road or see me anywhere,
Yeah,
they
they won't
don't
know.
know
Yeah,
that
of
I've got
course,
my
they
own
won't
business
know.
because it's not high street. It's just invisible. So we got a lot of people in services, right? If you look at our members, for example, we got dentists, we got all different professions, accountant, bookkeepers, people that do all sorts of services, mortgages, wills, probate, you name it, HR, IT services. But very few of them, I can try and think of how maybe only three of them have got for about five of our members have probably got a shop or an office that's outside of their home. Most of them don't. We got the balloon company, we got a florist, we have but so they have shops, so they're visible. But how many black florists do we know? How many black people that got a
Mm.
balloon shop that we know or a
Mm.
cake shop
I
that we
don't
know?
know.
But they
I've,
do
I've
have they're
only seen
there.
two black florists in my lifetime.
That's what I'm saying. But they're there, but we don't see them. Black funeral director. I spoke to a black funeral director recently. We're going to speak next week, so I want her to come into the group. So they're there. You think of nightclubs, people who are organizing dances, people who organize the dances and the promotions. Again, they're not visible. They don't have a shop,
I
but
used
they're
to do that, to be
organizing
fair. I
events.
used to do that. I used to do that.
Yeah, DJs,
Mm.
DJs, they're self-employed.
Yeah.
All of these people are self-employed. Forget about the entertainment industry and musicians and sports people and all that. Forget that because we know about those as well. But if you look at those, there's so many in different professions. My accountant's black, my IT person's black. You can employ people around all of these things. So they're there. So I think there's a number of things we need to do. There's lots of things we need to do. We know that. But one of the key things we need to do, apart from self-identity and identifying who we are, is family. You know, the number one economic unit in the world is family.
Yeah,
If
cool.
you are married or you have a strong relationship with your partner and you build an economic unit, just two of you, even if you're just earning a salary each, it almost doesn't matter what job you got. But if the two of you earning a salary, most of the time you're going to be better off than somebody who's single.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you have
cool. They're
children
cool.
together,
They're cool.
yeah, if you have children together and you know what it's like living in somewhere like London, for you to get a property in London or rent and do it on your own is very hard. But if you have two incomes, it makes a big difference. One of the biggest challenges in our community is that we don't get married. We don't have
We
the
cohabitate a
marriage.
lot, though. We cohabitate a lot.
We cohabitate a lot, true, but we're not enough marriage. This is just my opinion. We don't have enough
Mm.
marriage and enough solid cohabitation. So yes, it's all right to cohabitate, but let's make it stronger. Let's make it a stronger unit because a marriage is a stronger economic unit legally and financially. Because when you cohabitate, the ownership of your assets and the way your assets can be shared if you pass away becomes a problem. Because
Mm.
unless you leave a will, when you're not married, it creates those little issues. So
Mm.
there's a bit of more legal protection
Mm.
when you're married. But but I just think the economic unit is a big one. And we need to do other things even before you open a business, right? Or think about a business. You should get a pension because a workplace pension is a very, very efficient tax saving way of raising money. Have a pension, get a will, and have life insurance.
Mm.
A sister said to me, she does my life insurance. Sorry, she does my insurance cover, some of my insurance cover, and she said to me, life insurance is one of the best ways to pass generation wealth to your family. And I never thought of it that way. I never really thought of it that way. But actually, if you don't have your own property, the best way to pass on wealth is to be insured, isn't it?
Mm.
Because if you don't have a house or you
Yeah,
don't have an asset, when
absolutely.
you pass away, you've only got your clothes on your back.
Mm.
Is the only thing you're going to give your
But to
family?
be fair,
Nothing.
you've got things like stocks and shares, crypto.
Yeah, you could have
You
other
got other
investments
assets
and
like
stuff.
that.
You could have
Businesses.
other investments. You could have a car. You could have other things. But in terms of serious money,
Mm.
most people don't have 50 grand, 100 grand, hundreds of thousands of pounds even investment that they can hand over to their
Mm.
family. I mean, some people do, but the
Mm.
99% are not going to
And
have that
also
kind of
because the
money.
cost of living, yeah, the cost of living, it makes
The
it less
cost of living is hard. But
disposable
if you're
income to
insured,
save. Mm.
but if you're insured and you insure yourself for 100 grand, if you pass away, your family will get your children can get 100 grand straight away. That's a big difference to their lives.
I might have to ask your insurance person about income protection.
Income protection is
When I
another
hurt my
one.
leg at
Accident insurance. All of
my
these things
finger.
just to protect yourself, to make sure that, what if you're Uber driver and you have a little accident or something happens to you, get a little bit ill, no money coming in. If you have accident insurance, you can get all kind of stuff. So these are the things that are just basic. Then a business is another opportunity, but you got to be careful starting a business. 80% of businesses don't work.
Well, yeah, fail, yeah, cool.
So if 80% of businesses fail, forget the black community. 80% of businesses struggle anyway because it's hard, right? I did some research only a few years ago.
Okay.
And the average income of the average business in the UK, they reckon there's between 4 and 5 million registered businesses in this country, whether sole traders or company's house. They call registered businesses, right? Estimates between 4 and 5 million. What do you reckon is the average income? And this is UK data per year. Average income per year of the average business in the
25
UK.
grand, 25 grand.
It was just over 10,000.
Just over 10,000. See, so it's less than
the minimum wage. So if on average, and remember, average includes multi-million pound companies, big companies. So if the average is 10,000, that means if you took away the top ones, it would be even lower.
Yeah, it'd be lower.
So in other words, most people who open a business are not earning enough to live on. They're not even earning minimum wage because minimum wage is about 24 grand a year for 40 hours a week. So if you're not earning minimum wage, you might as well just have a job.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. Of course. That's why you get some people, they do the Andes now, isn't it? They might have what they call a side hustle. And then they've got their main job until their income increases. They don't bother. But then you got some people that says, "Oh, you don't believe in it enough." So if you're still working and then in the business on the side,
you haven't committed.
You've got plan B. You're not committed. So you get caught between a rock and a hard place, walking that tightrope.
You do. But what I do say to people is, don't worry about all the YouTubers and all these other people out there. Think about your personal situation. If you can secure a regular income from your salary, you don't have to earn that much extra to change your life.
Yeah, you don't.
I say to people all the time that if I gave you £500 a month tax-free for the next 10 years, what would it do to your life? Most people, it would be big. That's £6 grand a year you could save. You could go on holiday. You could buy a new car. You could go out to nice places. You could treat your partner. £500 a month. If you look at it, it's not a lot of money. But when it's in addition to your salary, it's a lot of money. If you had to live on it, obviously it's nothing. But if it's in addition to your salary, you could earn an extra 500 a month without killing yourself and working ridiculous hours. But you do your 9 to 5, and then you can earn this extra 500 on the side. It'd make a big difference. What if that was 1,000? What if it was a couple thousand? It's life changing for most people. If you got an extra £1,000 a month, tax free, on top of your salary every month, you're going to be going clear. You could probably maybe buy a property, rent something bigger.
No, to be fair, when I had a spell doing that myself, I used to invest it in the crypto stocks and shares. Because I know otherwise investments left me would just gone out of my hand. I'm not really thinking about buying fancy cars because it's a dead investment. The depreciation asset. And obviously the holidays, I said, look, it's good for the memories and experiences. But I said, look, I'm not getting any wealthier. So when my spell doing that, the limited company and then working, I used to say, yeah. I used to invest the profits into the crypto and the stocks.
100%. Yeah. So that's why I say
the passive income. I don't have to work for it. You get a little 100%. And so forth. Yeah.
So I say the same to people that there's nothing wrong with starting a business whilst you're still working. If you're in an organization where you can go part-time, it's even better because as your income starts to rise, instead of just walking away, you could say to your boss, can I work 4 days a week? Can I work 3 days a week? Can I work half hours? A lot of us work in the public sector where this is more likely, and some of the private sector is a bit tricky, but in the public sector, they not usually have flexible working policies and all that. So if you go to your boss and say, look, I would like to work half hours a week, most of them would find it difficult to say no. And that means you could step away and put in, 2 or 3 days a week towards this other business. So, and there's lots of other stuff like multi-level marketing is another one. Multi-level marketing, not the dodgy. I'm not talking about these dodgy schemes. I'm talking about proper registered.
Got a bad
legal,
rep though.
yeah, proper legal registered ones like Utility Warehouse, Forever Living, Amway. These ones, not the ones that somebody just some mate of yours says, "Look, give me eight
What about
hundred pound," and
ACN? Have you heard of ACN?
yeah, I've heard of ACN as well. There's lots of them, but
Yeah,
there's registered ones that have been around for years
yeah.
that are not going anywhere that people have done really well with. Those are good to do when you've got a job because you can start building up your income a little bit on the side. Residual income is a great way to start
Yeah,
building up
cool.
a little bit
Yeah,
of extra
definitely.
income. And that's where you can earn the 500,
Yeah.
the few £100s, and then
hmm
slowly build it up.
hmm Yeah, it's true. I've seen that, but then obviously the horror stories would make people apprehensive.
Yeah, but
You
that's
know,
why
to
you
look
need to
after
do the
the
ones,
property.
do the ones that are legit, registered, and have been around for years. And it's a very small acquisition cost. Most of those legal multi-level marketing is like £100,
Mm,
£150 to entry. So it's a very low level entry, and they give you training, they give you support, you have an upline. People don't
mm,
necessarily realize how cheap it is to get into it. Anybody who's got some dodgy scheme, say, give me some money, then that's not a registered proper business. But if you do the registered ones,
mm.
you can get the support and really do something. And what are you going to lose if you put £100 into something or 150 into something, and the rest of it is mainly your time?
Yeah,
Even if
cool.
it
It's a
didn't work,
no-brainer. Yeah,
you
theoretically, it's a
didn't lose that
no-brainer.
much. It's a low risk.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah,
low risk.
true.
Not like somebody saying, "Look, you got to give me £5 to start with," and if it don't
Mm.
work, it's like you lose everything. These are regulated. I'm talking about regulated businesses that you can actually, join. So those are very good as well. And I know black people who have done well on it. I know
Mm.
somebody who's in utility warehouse, and that was years ago. He was doing 7,000 a month residual.
That's serious.
He
And
got
they
in
told you that
early.
because to be fair, when I see say some of these ACM people, I say, show me your back office, and they'd be like, oh well. I said, see, yeah, that I know you're trying to run a ruse on me, and I'm not doing that. I said,
Yeah,
when
get
I
them to
tell
show.
you what I'm
Let
doing,
them
I
show
will tell
you.
you what I'm doing.
Let them
Mm.
show you their residuals. Yeah, let them show
Mm.
you their
And I
residuals.
could tell from then. I said, "Yeah, yeah. See, look. Yeah, it's like well, I'm not saying it's a scam, but I said, look, it's not. It's not what it says. He doesn't do what it says on this tin. He's not Runsil." So they were like, "Oh, well, fair enough. You've missed out." And I said, "No, no, it's all right." I think one of them
Yeah,
might
get
get
them to show you.
$100, and they were thinking it was similar start of money for the site and that, but then they wanted this business builder pack, which they said
Yeah,
was £500, and they said I had to get my downline to think. I said, no, no. Again, I said, why would I do that? A lot of them are struggling just in their normal jobs
yeah.
to
You
find
have to
money for
decide which
a
one
business
works for
builder.
you.
Yeah, so I said, yeah. And to be fair, they tried to do the thing that their head organized. I think it was like a splinter one off of the ACN. Said they showed me Donald Trump shaking hands with sheikhs. So I said, yeah, but I said, your thing is FLN. So what does that stand for? There's a Future Lifestyle Network. So I said, if you're a subsidiary of ACN, how does that work then? And I said, none of your downlines or uplines. I said, I don't see any kind of real money. I hear a lot of figures, projected figures banded around, but never no real reality. So I said, I might as well
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
to my part-time job or my nightclub promotion on the side. So I said, they don't make no sense. So I tried it for about a year, then I backed out of it. And they're like, oh, see, you've missed an opportunity. You're not coachable and all this. I said, no, I've been to church before. You're not going to regret that one on me. Thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, so yeah, yes, it's interesting you say that though. But yeah, there was a big phase of it, I'd say 7, 8 years ago, where people were like you said, Amway, Forever Living. I think there's one even when I was a little boy, my parents used this Clean Easy the thing. But then because of the horror stories and where I've seen people fall out over, people not being transparent with what the process is and that people have just given it a bad rep now. So people are very apprehensive that I've known that to join anything like that when it comes to multi-level market. They just see it as a pyramid scheme. Yeah, so but it's interesting though, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So
Yeah.
in the future, how are you gonna the Black Business Club? What are you looking to do? What's the end game, the vision for it?
Yes. The long-term future of what I'm thinking here is to build it to 1,000 members.
Okay.
So that's where I want to get to. I want to get to 1,000 members. Well, I want to keep building it for as long as I'm breathing, and hopefully it's a legacy I can hand over to my children to them to run it. So
Okay.
basically, I would like to get to 100 members this year, or over 100 members this year, past the 100 member mark this year. and then into next year to 200. And within 5 years, I want to get to 1,000 members. I want it to be international as well. We've got 2 members in Jamaica. We've got a member in Gambia. I'm going to hopefully go into Ghana, Rwanda, and maybe South Africa later this year, and I'll be promoting it there as well.
And
so yeah, we want to have people in around the world.
Tell people about the benefits of joining the club then.
Yeah, so basically, we're talking about £12 a month. That is the base level, or £120 a year. This is peanuts. People will spend more on a coffee in a few days than they spend on this membership. So for the idea is to make it as low entry cost as possible, because we want volume. The benefit of membership is each other. The fact that we can network with each other. We don't want to necessarily take a lot of money out of people's pocket. Just do that. If you want to do networking on steroids, you can do BNI. I'm in BNI. That's a different level, but you got to invest serious money and time. This one is a low level of investment, low level of commitment, but the opportunity is there for those who want to grab it. Now, for that £12 a month, basically, I commit to, you can have an entry on the website. You've got a Facebook group. We've got a WhatsApp group just for members. And an app will be launched soon as well, where we'll be on an app as well. Okay. And the idea is that, there's an app coming as well. And then we meet twice a month for 90 minutes. So usually the first Tuesday and the third Wednesday of the month. And we meet for 90 minutes each time. And it's either me doing a presentation on business, a guest speaker, or a member presenting their business. And that bit is recorded. That first half hour is recorded. And anybody who misses it or anybody wants to look at it, they've got the recording. And then the next hour or whatever time we've got left, we network. So I put people in breakout rooms on Zoom, and they do networking one-on-one to learn about other people's businesses. Yeah. And that gives people the opportunity to get to know other members. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. What I try to get people to understand is, once you're in a group like that, you have the excuse to ring up any of them. You've got all their details, and arrange a one-to-one and explore what opportunities you might be able to do to each other. Just for an example, somebody's buying a house, okay? So they're getting a mortgage from you, okay? So the mortgage advisor will also sell life insurance. But it's very easy when somebody's buying a property and you talk to them about life insurance to say, by the way, Sean, do you have a will? And they go, no. Oh, I know somebody who could help you with that. You make an introduction to the will advisor, right? Similarly, if somebody is getting a will, you can ask them, have you got life insurance? No, we haven't got life insurance. Right. So I can introduce you to somebody who can do life insurance for you. There's an example of 2 different professions who very easily, if they decide to collaborate, could make referrals. Every time one gets a client, they could make a referral to the other one. And they could do a something just to collaborate. Now, what if they had another 3 or 4 people doing that? You just get 3 or 4 will advisors, 3 or 4 mortgage people, and you say, look, when we get each other's businesses, we're going to refer each other, and we'll collaborate with each other and do that. You can make more, you get more money than that one person in that room that you're trying to get that one will off. Because let's be honest, how many times somebody does a will? Usually once in your life.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Right. You might revise it as you get older, circumstances change, but usually like once. But if I could introduce you to a mortgage advisor who would give you loads of referrals in the year, because how many mortgages are they doing a year? They could be doing a few mortgages every month. If each of those people they refer to you to do a will, happy days.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to encourage.
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to encourage. What we really want is trades. We don't have trades at the moment. We've got our first cleaning, a woman who's got a cleaning company now, but I want more trades, like all the plumbers, the electricians, and all that sort of stuff. I want all of them to be involved in the group, right? All of them, because if we get trades, it's even easier to refer. Because we all know if somebody knows a plumber, they ask for electrician. If somebody got electrician, they ask for another service, gas safe engineer, carpenter, plasterer, roofer, all of those. So those are easy referrals. So I want all the trades to come in as well. And we need lots of trades because trades usually work quite local. So you need trades all over the place. There's no point just saying we've got one gas fitter in North London because somebody in South London, they say, it's a bit far. So we need one in all different parts of the country. So we need loads of trades. So I'm appealing to any black trades out there.
No, to be fair, I remember I told you.
Let us know, jump in, yeah.
Even I've done a bit of maintenance, so it's thing, yeah. So, but I've got a few that are in the
And
trade.
there's loads of money to be made as long as people are organized. So that's what I encourage. So that's basically how it works. That's basically the benefits of it. And we have 4 socials a year as well. So we want to do socials which are face to face.
Yeah,
So
cool.
we
Yeah,
already
the
did
Black
one
Farmers Market.
Black Farmers at
We
the
should have
Black
done. We should have
Farmers.
put a picture up in the group. Yeah,
Yeah, Black
when we was there.
Farmers. So we did that one, and then we've got another one with Laura Luck. We're doing in June. Should be in June. We're organizing that right now. We want to do a golfing event in the summer, and we've already got the Christmas party booked for the 14th of
Fun
December.
enough,
So
have you got any pictures from when we was at the Black Farmers event?
yeah, I have got pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you haven't put them in the WhatsApp group, have you?
I'll share them.
Yeah, sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can put them up.
Then we
Yeah,
can put them on the socials and attract more people.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need to put them up on the website as well. It's just to show the events that we're having, and also we've gone to a bowling place, and we're going to look at soft socials as well because we try and get black venues, but obviously not all venues are black owned. But not everybody wants to go to a social that costs like £50 a head or something, like with dinner and all that. So we want to do some soft socials, like just go bowling. It's like £20 for for a couple games, and then if you don't want to eat, you don't have to eat. It's a bit more casual. So we're going to do some of those softer socials as well, where we just a bit more relaxed. It's not like a formal place that we booked it and all that. We just do a little thing and we just network with each other. But I like to do the formal ones where we got the whole space. We
Yeah,
can do
cool.
presentations. We can do. It's a bit more formal. But if you go bowling, obviously there's going to be other people there. But between us, it's still an opportunity to network. So I'm going to do those little ones as well. So it's all fun. It's all fun. We're going to do more.
Cool.
And if you
I've
live
seen
in,
it. I've got experience of everyone. So you heard what Mr. St Hill said. Come on down. And that's another episode of Equal Start today. And thanks for coming on, Mr. St Hill.
my pleasure.
And when there's people, there's power. Justice in our time.
Absolutely.